Hello again, YouTubers and Pokemon fans! Today I'm hoping to have two openings for you. First, today we're going to open up one of the 4 new 2016 World Championship decks of Pokemon cards. And we'll start off with the Juniors Champion, Shunto Shadahiro. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, I have not heard the name, so doing the best I can with that. And the deck is called Black Dragon, featuring, as you can see there, Darkrai EX. So let's just read the top part here first. Shunto Shadahiro's deck channeled the powers of darkness to claim victory in the Junior Division. Giratina EX and Garbodor work together to keep your opponent from doing pretty much anything, especially for opponents whose deck rely on special energy. Max Elixir speeds things up, and when double Dragon Energy is in play, and with some help from Yveltal's Oblivion Wing attack, Darkrai EX gets an extra boost to unleash an enormous Dark Pulse attack. And we'll show you all the cards, but there's a quick look at the deck list. I'm not sure if they'll be in order in the deck or not, so might be an easier way to see how many of each there are. There it says everything you get, the 60 card deck, a booklet, a pin, and a deck box. It should just be a little cardboard deck box, I believe, right there, just like you get in theme decks as well. So I guess let's tear right into this and see how it goes. I will try to be opening up one of these each of the next 4 days. We'll do Junior Champion today, and then Senior Champion tomorrow, Masters Champion on Sunday, or sorry, that'd be Monday, and then the Masters Division runner-up on Tuesday. Subject to change, but that is the current tentative plan at least. So here is the booklet. I won't show us the detail on every one, but since this is our first one, let's kind of page through it a little bit anyway, to show you. There's all the different countries that participated in Worlds this year. Top TCG trainers unleash the unexpected. And let's see. So it was August 19th through the 21st. The 1,022 best Pokemon TCG players in the world faced off against one another in 3 age divisions. There's over 1,000 participants in the TCG World Championships in 2016. And there is the Junior Finals bracket. If you can see, the deck we're opening today is Shunto Shadahiro's, who defeated Riko Ushirosako in the finals. And looks like he beat 2 U.S. Participants in the semifinals and the quarterfinals to reach the finals and ultimately win it all. Looks like in the juniors division, in the top 8, there was 5 from Japan, 2 from the U.S., and 1 from France. Or sorry, that's Italy. I'm very bad with just all that stuff. All right, I won't go into as much detail, but there's the senior bracket. You can pause there and look in more detail if you so choose. There is the Masters bracket. It's got a few more. Well, actually, both seniors and Masters had, looks like, 4 U.S. players in the top 8. And here's some pictures from Worlds, autographs being signed and such. A big Pikachu balloon. There is Shunto Shadahiro himself, who is the deck we're opening up here. Let's go ahead and read his little bio here as well. Shunto was a little worried going in. It was my first time battling at the World Championships, so I was really nervous, he says. But he had plenty of support on the road to Worlds. His dad and his younger brother both play the Pokemon TCG, and he has a strong team who helped him build and test his deck, focused on Darkrai EX and Giratina EX. A bit of luck helped him out in the finals too. His opponent tried several times to discard energy from his Pokemon with Crushing Hammer, and the coin flip came up tails every time, as Shunto visibly celebrated on camera. And there is the deck list again. An interesting fact, Shunto played against his final opponent, Riku, at several gym battles in Japan before they faced off at Worlds. So there you go, and there is Riku, who he defeated, who was using a Trevenant Break deck, looks like. And then looks like we got 3rd place for juniors, 4th place for juniors, then some more pictures. Kind of start speeding up a little bit here. But like I said, being the first one, I want to show things in a little bit more detail. I'll try to show out these seniors in more detail when we open the senior deck tomorrow, and I'll show the Masters in a little more detail probably when I do the first Masters deck. But I want to show you the full book, and there is Shunto again there, I believe. And then there is the Masters Champion, the 2nd place Masters Division, 3rd place, and 4th place. And then I believe just a few more pictures there. So many Pikachus. There's the video game champions. Looks like the United States swept all 3 age divisions for the video games anyway. But we were not quite as lucky on the TCG side. So let's see. So I guess the numbers, are those the Pokedex numbers? They must be. I think they are. So that's the Junior Division Champion for those familiar with video games. That is the team that won the Junior Division. There is the team that won the Seniors Division for the video game. And then I'm guessing Masters, yep. There's the Masters Champion list. So it looks like a few Pokemon repeated there a few times. Pretty similar team to the Junior. Kyogre, Rayquaza, and Hitmontop in both. And Bronzong was in the Senior Division as well. So 4 of the 6 that the Masters Division Champion won with were featured in either the Juniors or the Seniors as well. Kind of interesting. And then Pokken Tournament Champions. Senior Division and Masters Division. There was no Juniors Division from the looks of it. So main Pokemon was Charizard, and for Masters, Chandelure was the main Pokken Tournament used there. And credits, and some final pictures there. Play Pokemon. Alright, so sorry if that was a little bit long. Ooh, 6 minutes. Yeah, that was definitely longer than I anticipated, but just wanted to show it in full detail in the first one, because some of you that may not be buying these decks may be interested in what is all in there. So, want to show you guys as much as I can, and if it's not of interest, then obviously you could have skipped at least that portion of the video and gotten to the point we're at now, where we're going to start showing you some of the trading cards. So, let's pop out the couple here that are in the plastic in front. Alright, so I'm not going to put any of these in sleeves because they're not foils, for one. But let's get everything out here. So yeah, there's the deck box. Like I said, just cardboard deck box, just like we usually get in theme decks. Here is the pin, San Francisco 2016, featuring Pikachu on a trolley. Very cute. And then on the back there, it should say official pin. Got a little hair or something there on it. So made in China, E16. I know I'm blinding you, but I can see it myself. I have the spot focus on, so it's hard to see that, but yeah, it says Pokemon 2016 copyright Pokemon made in China E16. Doesn't actually say official pin on it like many others do. I'm not sure what the E16 means. Maybe they're trying to number pins like they do Black Star promos. I'm not really sure, but it is what it is. We'll have to see on other pins in future videos. These will probably all say E16 because they're the same pin, but we'll see if that's a thing or not. Alright, so let's get all these cards. Oh, there's the code, which I am going to redeem this because I want to have these on PTCGO as well, so sorry, but since it accidentally showed him, I wanted to show it fully book-like, I guess. Might do some PTCGO battles using these theme decks, or these Worlds decks as well, because I wanted to do that, so sorry about that, but let's see. Just see if there are any real, they're kind of in order. So these are the cards that were shown in front. Let me just bring these behind camera for a second and see if I can like put everything together so it's a little bit more in order here. Let's see, I guess that's the only Hoopa? Sure. Alright, and we'll just drop these back there. Alrighty, so here we go. We've got Giratina EX, runs 2 of it, and the ability Renegade Pulse. Prevent all effects of attacks, including damage, done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Mega Evolution Pokemon. So, if your opponent's running Mega Pokemon, can't touch Giratina. Chaos Field is 100. Your opponent can't play any Pokemon Tool, Special Energy, or Stadium cards from his or her hand during his or her next turn. So basically, Giratina EX is one big hate card. It stops a lot of things from happening and prevents a lot of things that your opponent couldn't otherwise do, if not for the ability, if not for the attack effect, etc. So 2 of those. They've got Yveltal with Oblivion Wing, does 30, and attach Dark Energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. We've got 2 of that. We've got, let me bring the Trubbish forward here. We've got 2 Trubbish, which doesn't matter too much. What matters is that goes to Garbodor with the ability Garbotoxin. If this Pokemon has a Pokemon Tool card attached to it, each Pokemon in play, in each player's hand, and in each player's discard pile has no abilities, except for Garbotoxin. And yes, that includes Shaman's setup ability. And then the attack offensive bomb doesn't really matter because it's there for the ability and the ability alone. I've got the Darkrai EX, 180 HP. Dark Pulse is 20, plus 20 more damage for each dark, for each Dark Energy attached to all of your Pokemon. And then Dark Head does 80, plus 80 more if your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep. So 2 of those. We've got a Hoopa EX, just one of those with the ability Scoundrel Ring. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon EX and reveal them and put them into your hand. They don't go straight to the bench, so it works very well for cards like Shaman EX. It goes to your hand, and you can deploy it to your bench at your leisure when your hand size is advantageous to do so, as with the ability set up if you don't know. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. And then Sky Return does 30, and return this Pokemon and all cards attached to it to your hand. I get comments pretty frequently, why is Shaman so expensive? The ability set up there is a very versatile ability in competitive play that's used in nearly every deck, and usually in multiples. Nearly all decks use at least 2 or 3 copies of Shaman, so it's a very coveted, very needed card if you want to be competitively viable in tournaments. And the set it came in, Roaring Skies, came out in May of 2015, I believe, and it was out of print by like February of this year and sold out, so it only had like a 9-month shelf life. Usually a booster set is fully available from Pokemon, from distributors, etc. for like 1.5 to 2 years at minimum. So for as long as I've been like actively following that sort of stuff and heavily involved in it, that's the shortest shelf life I've seen for any booster set for the last several years. So several factors contributing to Shaman EX being a very valuable, expensive, coveted card. And today now I specify, these World's Deck cards, they have the different card backing. They are not tournament legal. It should say so right on the back of the packaging as well. They should make it like even more obvious, but let's see. So yeah, down here in the fine print, this deck features a limited edition card back. These cards are not tournament legal. So if you want to use cards in a deck and enter a tournament, you can't use these cards. These are basically like official proxies, you could say. And you can, most leagues you can use them at, they should allow you to most of the time because that's, basically a practice situation where it should be okay, unless you're using these card backs and regular card backs with clear or no sleeves, because then you're going to know what cards you may or may not be drawing. But just be aware that these are going to be a lot cheaper on eBay and stuff. I think right now people are selling the Shaman EXs from these for maybe $10, maybe a little less. I've seen them go for as much as like $12, which surprises me that people actually pay that much for a card you can't use in tournaments, but values are determined by buyers as much as they are sellers, because if buyers aren't paying the price, sellers aren't going to charge that price because they want to actually move inventory as well. But I know one seller on eBay has sold over like 600 Shaman EX World Championship cards for like $10 to $12 each, so I don't know why, but people are paying more than they should for them. But you get 2 Shaman EXs in here for, proxies. Then on to a whole lot of trainers and energy. Got Reverse Valley, which I need to refamiliarize myself with this one. Let's see, on the bottom here, kind of hard to read the way they design these. Let's see. Choose which way this card faces before you play it. The attacks of this player's Dark Pokemon do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And this one says any damage done to this player's Metal Pokemon by an opponent's attacks is reduced by 10. So 1 Reverse Valley. Then Max Elixir, which as the back of the box or bio or whatever said, this was a important card in his deck. Look at the top 6 cards of your deck and attach a basic energy card you find there to a basic Pokemon on your bench. So definitely a popular trainer right now. It's definitely one of the most valuable trainers in Standard right now, as it helps with energy acceleration, which is a very, very big thing to be able to do in competitive play. Got Lysander ×2. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with one of his or her active Pokemon. Fighting Fury Belt ×3. The basic Pokemon this card is attached to gets plus 40 HP, and its attacks do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Another above average value trainer. Versus Seeker, another more expensive trainer. Put a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand. Now obviously I don't normally read all the cards, but as these are competitive decks, and those watching this video, I'm assuming a lot of you want to know more about competitive play, so trying to read the cards and explain what I can when viable. So making the video longer than I planned, but hopefully it's worthwhile. We got 1 Super Rod. Shuffle 3 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. It's basically half of a Brock's Grit. Brock's Grit is a supporter card from Evolutions, and it does 6 basic energy into your Pokemon and basic energy into your deck. Ultra Ball ×4. Discard 2 cards from your hand. Search your deck for a Pokemon card and add it to your hand. AZ basically is a scoop up, a supporter, put one of your Pokemon into your hand, and discard all cards attached to that Pokemon. Trainer's Mail, another more expensive trainer card. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a trainer card you find there except for Trainer's Mail and put it into your hand, shuffle their cards back into your deck. Just 2 of those. And let's see, got a few more trainers here. 4 Professor Sycamore, which you should all know by now what that one does. Nearly every deck runs 4 of this card. Discard your hand and draw 7 cards. Very versatile draw engine there, and the main draw engine outside of Shaman EX these days. Pokemon Ranger, remove all effects of attacks on each player and his or her Pokemon. Supporter card. And then we've got a different stadium, Parallel City. So again, you choose which way it faces. Any damage done by attacks from this player's grass, fire, or water Pokemon is reduced by 20. And this player can't have more than 3 benched Pokemon. When this card comes into play, this player discards benched Pokemon until he or she has 3 Pokemon on the bench. So if you're facing a Mega Rayquaza deck that relies on bench, or a Raichu that relies on bench size, there you go. Also now the Xerneas, the Rainbow deck, that would work well against that as well. And each player shuffles his or her hand into his or her deck, then each player draws a card for each of his or her remaining prize cards. Got 2 of that. Floatstone, which will usually go on that Garbodor pretty frequently. The Pokemon this card is attached to has no retreat cost. You got 3 of those. Zerosic, which is no longer standard legal. Choose a Pokemon tool or special energy card attached to a Pokemon in play. That's one problem with the Worlds decks, is that once these come out, which is now, the format is different. Right now, standard is Primal Clash onward. When these decks were viable, it was XY base set onward. So now we don't have XY base set, Flash Fire, Furious Fist, or Phantom Forces in standard, and we now have evolutions added, which wasn't out yet when Worlds happened. So you can't make these same decks today and use them in standard, but there's not too many cards in this deck, I don't think, that were not standard legal. The Zerosic here, the main one, versus Seeker is still legal. AZ, I can't remember if AZ got a reprint or not. But Zerosic and maybe AZ, I think, are the only cards in this particular deck that aren't standard legal. So you can still make nearly the same exact identical deck and use it in standard. Almost, just have to tweak a couple of cards. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Dark Energy, and 3 Devil Dragon Energy. So that is everything in the championship deck that won the Juniors Division. Again, that was piloted by Shunto Shadahiro, and the deck is called Black Dragon. So hopefully that helped you guys that are looking to learn more about competitive play. And like I said, we'll be up at the other 3 in the next 3 days. And those are probably a little bit shorter videos because I won't go through the booklet in as much detail, obviously. And I probably won't go over the same cards as much detail as were in this deck. And a lot of the trainers will be overlapped. So basically, if you want to learn more about competitive play, hopefully me opening and explaining these 4 decks the best I can will help you guys with that. So hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully it's worthwhile for at least some of you. And if you enjoyed it and you haven't already, please subscribe, smash that like button. And I'll see you hopefully later today with another opening and some more Pokemon goodness. I'll see you then, everybody.